Hey guys, I had to wait for both of them to get on there. So you get me in this shirt today. I meant to go change clothes. Sorry. Didn't happen. And we're here. So it is what it is. And you're also getting me totally Polly Shoring it. So if y'all haven't seen Polly Shore's latest video, or the one that hit like 2 million views or whatever, where he's eating Panera bread in front of everybody, I'm not quite eating Panera bread, but I have had a long day. Haven't had a chance to really eat much. So yeah, you're getting me eating Mexican food. It is what it is, because queso. Yeah. So if you're here, which you are, we're going to talk about 3 topics tonight. We actually have them planned out. I know y'all are surprised. And then we're going to just answer questions. And chances are we'll probably answer questions in between everything else anyway. So what we're going to talk about tonight are a few pretty interesting topics, okay? So we're going to talk about near-death experiences versus ego death. We're going to talk about connecting to your deities, ancestors, etc. We're also going to talk about and we're going to talk about protection.
Yes, we are on YouTube as well.
I can't count tonight because that was 4. So, yes, we're live on YouTube. We are live on the TikTok. And yeah, so we picked these topics because we both had a busy few days here. And here in a second, while Pam's talking, before we get to the protection aspect, she almost got to her 1,000. So somebody on TikTok asked if Pam almost got to her 1,000.
I did. I think I need 24 more to get to 1,000.
Yep, which I'm sure she will have before the end of the night. So I will be drawing some sigils on here for y'all, and I'll hold them up, like I'll draw them and hold them up so you guys can see them to use for protection and so on. We'll also post some links here in a second. I say post, I'll have them up on a piece of paper. But yeah. So let's talk about near-death experiences versus ego death. I've had a lot of people that have experienced, like clients that have experienced ego death, but thought that was near-death experiences. Hey, Sabrina. So here's the main difference between the two. Well, there's 2 main differences. The first main difference is that with a near-death experience, you die. Your body dies. Something completely disconnects yourself, your conscious self, from your body.
Your vital signs cease.
Yeah, that's it. You did. This is not something usually you get to prepare for. It happens, etc. With an ego death, here's the main difference with that. With that one, the whole point of the ego death is for that part of yourself, your ego, to accept that it's going to die. So with a near-death experience, usually this happens pretty quickly. With a car wreck, with a blow to the head, with drowning, with something like that. It happens like that. You don't have time to realize you're dying until you're disconnected. Now, some people do, don't get me wrong. Some people do. Like, there's a series on Netflix called Surviving Death. One of the ladies in there, the very first episode is about near-death experiences and the experiences those people had. One of the ladies in there died during a kayak accident. She got pulled underwater and was beaten against her kayak and held underwater. And she realized, I'm dying. I'm going to die. But when she realized it, she thought, I'm okay with this. I'm okay. She didn't have any pain, etc. With an ego death, however, this is something that builds up while you're experiencing it to the point that you have to say, I'm okay with dying for it to break, for your brain to break, basically. So I've got my notes up there. So for me personally, I've experienced both. So yeah, those people that have experienced a near-death experience, everybody has what they experience there on the other side, whatever you want to call it. If you watch the show Surviving Death, the first episode, like I said, is about near-death experiences. So you will hear a whole bunch of different people's versions, ideas, etc. They found in studying near-death experiences, there's a couple of really large groups that study them. they found that there are like, I want to say 5 main categories that everybody fits into with a near-death experience. Almost everybody says that there's always some part of it that you can't words, because your brain understands it, you see it, you feel it, but we don't have the words to express it to other people around us. So a lot of times people see light, very bright light. They see darkness. They see colors. Those are the 3. And when I say colors, I don't mean just like, oh, the colors are brighter. Literally a bubble of color. That's all you see is colors. And some of the colors, people can't explain the color. There is not a color for it.
There's not a word for the color.
Not a word for it. Yeah. Thank you. I haven't ate much yet. So yeah, y'all are going to get to watch me eat. So anyway, here's what it is. As far as near-death experiences go, they're usually very, very traumatic. And people usually have to take a long time to process them. With me in particular, I've had 2. When I was 19, both within about less than a couple days of each other. The first one, I literally watched myself go up, hyper focused. I can still to this day, this was 20 years ago, over 20 years ago, I can still to this day tell you everything that happened in the room around me, down to people's shoes that I could have never seen. But then it was a ball of color for me with certain feelings that were amplified, colors I can never explain, and 2 beings that were there. The
They're
second
wanting
time,
to know what caused this.
Oh, okay. What caused mine in particular? So I had bacterial meningitis. They didn't know what kind it was. They literally just threw everything at me, and it worked. So the first time I died, my fever was 106, a little over 106, and I was in the ER. They were doing a spinal tap on me, and Mandy died. I woke up in the ICU about a day and a half to 2 days later. Nobody really, I don't remember. Like they told me it was about 2 days. And then something happened to my blood pressure, and apparently I flatlined again. So that time was a little different. Whereas the first time was the colors and, telling me that I needed to go back. It wasn't my time. But in talking to Pam about it, Pam's the first one I've ever really processed through it with. I've never really explained what I've seen until Pam finally one day was like, "You've never told me what you saw. I want to know what you saw." I've told a few people, but not in depth. And so being a psych nurse, Pam's helped me really process through a lot of it. So I realized that first episode, the first time with the colors, is when I gained having synesthesia. The second time, and what sucks is this was so long ago, I'm sure I could probably go back and get my medical records, but I don't know. My mom's passed away. Everybody that was there has passed away. The second time, however, I was in this amazingly beautiful garden that extended as far as you could see, but yet it was all very close, which I hope that makes sense because so I can explain it. But in the middle is this large fountain. Some people are already out and around and they're doing things, they're talking to other people, etc. But other people were at the fountain and they were looking in, and some people were just streaming tears, and some people were smiling, and some people, their face was just blank. And I'm standing there with someone next to me, and all I want to do is get to this fountain. Everything in me was like, go to the fountain, go look in the fountain. But as I tried to move, I couldn't. And I literally, like, as hard as you could ever imagine yourself pushing to move, that's how I was. But I never could get there. And the person next to me literally told me it wasn't my time yet and I needed to go back. And I argued with said person, and and Pam finally asked me, we were talking about it, and Pam asked me, what do you think would have happened if you looked in the fountain? And I said, I wouldn't come back. If I looked in the fountain, I wouldn't have come back. So Pam's done wonders for me, helping me process that. I've helped so many people over the years process theirs. I didn't realize I needed that for myself. So if you guys have had a near-death experience and you haven't been able to process it, I highly recommend you find somebody that can help you, either a study group, books, a person, a support group, whatever. Oh, that is so sweet. Thank you.
Thank you.
Even if you guys have had one and you don't really know who to talk to, you're welcome to make an appointment with me. And I've walked a lot of people through it and helped them process. Because for me, mine was when I was 19. I'm 44 now. I basically was told I was seeing stuff, wasn't real, fever dream. You know, people blew it off.
Somebody asked what your faith was.
What is my faith? Well, for a while, I didn't have one. When I was growing up, we learned about all kinds of stuff. We believed in a higher power, etc. After that, I really delved into going to church all the time because I was looking for answers and no one could give them to me. So I really hardcore dove into going to church. I got baptized when I was about 8 months pregnant with my son. So the preacher even joked that it was a 2-for-1 there. But it never felt completely 100% correct for me. It took me a little bit to realize that. And so I started looking at other things. So I eventually looked into Buddhism. I have taken my Buddhist precepts. I have my Dharma name, etc. But I also walk a very shamanic path now. I do a lot of traveling. I do a lot of things like that. I help a lot of people. I kind of consider myself a pretty eclectic faith. I have pieces of everything. So if you guys ever look up the term omnist, that is someone that believes pretty much every religion has parts of it right. That's kind of how I believe. So really, I walk a very shamanic, more witchcraft path with things, but I am kind of an omnist. I believe there are pieces with every religion that are correct. I don't believe that any one religion has everything correct. But I also kind of believe that as a human, our minds are not meant to understand everything yet. There's some things we physically cannot comprehend. So that every religion is true. Oh yeah. So yeah, if you guys ever look it up, omnist, that's a belief. So yeah. I lost my train of thought for a minute. I'm gonna let Pam talk for a minute.
What am I going to say? I've never had a near-death experience. I have not.
I just need queso.
I
need queso after that.
I don't consider myself lucky because I think that would be a great experience. I don't consider myself unlucky because, I don't think anybody asked for that. So I truly believe in near-death experiences. I believe there's too much science behind it. Depends on who you ask. I think there are some doctors that are like, oh, it's just the hypoxic. It's just the brain, the way the brain is wired when you're actively dying, being starved of oxygen, it causes hallucinations that feel,
yeah.
Okay. It's just like religion. You believe what you want to believe. She's going to believe what she lived through or died through, however you want to say it. I do believe that. I believe that there's no way that we can't go that close to the edge, and some people are given a choice. And how many people that we don't know about have gone there, were given the choice and chose to move on. We don't hear those stories. We hear the stories of the ones who do come back and who come back and tell about it. And there's too many similarities. Even children, very young children, telling the same stories, understanding the same things when they don't have the capabilities of going online and reading and knowing this stuff. You only know it if you've been through it.
And what's interesting is, What's interesting is if you guys look into some of the large studies, there's two. There's one here in the U.S. and there's one in England or Europe. I can't remember.
We both practice witchcraft. We are both witches.
If you look at both those studies, like I said, I can't remember if it's 5 or 6 categories that literally everyone that's ever had a near-death experience fits into some piece of it. It may not be word for word exact, but they use it there. It's a category like this. One of the things that I have found is that with the vast majority of people, I probably would say 98, 97, 98% of people that have had a near-death experience, because I've studied it extensively, you come back with gifts. You come back with gifts.
You can't not come back with something different.
There's a gentleman, first, I want to say he's in Paris. I can't remember. But anyway, he's an artist. He came back with being able to look at something and draw it in detail from memory. There is an amazing video of him. They flew him in a helicopter around the city of Paris in a circle, went back, and they put a big, just continuous piece of paper up. And he spent 4 or 5 days doing nothing but drawing with a pencil, and drew one of the most detailed sketches of the city of Paris that anyone had ever seen. He had no electronics, no nothing. He drew it from memory. There are people that come back with mediumship abilities. There are people that come back with the gift of sight, of knowing things. There are people that come back with amazing mathematical abilities. For me, it took me a while to see the gifts. I came back with chronic migraines, which they blamed that for epilepsy. I found out it took 20 years for them to realize that I had epilepsy. But in looking back at that, even though not knowing I had epilepsy, the type of epilepsy I have affects the left side. So it makes this side work overtime. Since 96, since having that, and coming back, I get obsessively creative. I have actually since then written 207 books in that time frame. And I have another one I've got to get out. I also paint obsessively. I research obsessively. So that's how I found out. I delve into finding out what epilepsy is, what it does to the brain, how it makes things work overtime, etc. I realize in talking to Pam and looking back with the color issue, if any of you guys have looked at any of my videos, I gained, I call it a gift, the gift of synesthesia. So the first thing I remember is when I kind of woke up because they put me in a medical coma after the second time, was the doctor standing there next to me. And I remember when he touched my arm and he's like, "Oh, there you are, kiddo." All I remember is I was like, "Oh, he's Hunter Green." That was my first thought. My first waking thought was he's Hunter Green. And so I've adapted and used that. I know a couple of people that they are, as a kid, were super creative. They drew, they did all this stuff. And then after having a near-death experience in their 20s, they are so mathematical now. They ended up getting I have a friend that has 2 different doctorates in mathematics and stuff I can't even pronounce. But what's awesome is their mathematical theories of the universe and then my metaphysical theories, we talk about that in depth, and it's really amazing. There are other people that come back with musical abilities when they've never played an instrument a day in their life. Things like that.
Speaking other languages
when they didn't grow up or even have been to that country. So it's really amazing the things that a little brain damage will do to a person, I guess, for lack of a better term. So somebody asked, was it nice where you went, peaceful? What made you want to come back? I was told I didn't have a choice, that I was coming back. The first time, here's how I explain it. Pam is almost to 1,000. In fact, she probably needs to look and see. If you guys don't follow Pam, it's at Native Dreamwalker. Yeah, follow it. Follow. The first time was literally after not being in my body while they were working on me. It was in a huge ball of color. The only thing I can explain it like is if you took acrylic paint and laid it on water, you know how it flows, but not feathering together, but then made that a bubble. Because all I saw was these colors, and there were 2 people in there with me. They weren't people, 2 beings in there with me, but I couldn't see them.
Her brother could speak.
Oh, wow.
Fluent Italian.
And
I don't
then,
know, maybe that's a past life bleeding through
yeah.
when you've gone to the other side and back.
Mm-hmm. But the feelings I felt then, the colors I saw, if you took every amazing feeling you've ever had in your life, all of the good, and you combine them into one feeling, and then you amplified it by about 50, that's how that felt. Like there's no, like even talking about it makes me want to cry because it was that fantabulous. You can't explain it. The second time, that need to get to the fountain, the place was phenomenally beautiful. The most peaceful place I've ever been in my life. But the need to look in that fountain was so great. Like I couldn't stand myself. And it, even thinking back now, kind of irritates me at myself, but I couldn't, you know. So somebody said, Jesus baptized me in the ocean. Nobody believes me. I would absolutely believe you, love.
No reason to not believe that.
So I had the doctor that I said was Hunter Green. Like I can still vividly remember every aspect of his face. But when I saw him a couple weeks later to, you know, get my checkup after I got out of the hospital and so on, he asked what I remembered if I heard them talking to me when I was in the coma. And I was like, nope, not a bit. So he asked me what I did remember. And I told him those two things. And so with the color aspect, because I had told him about watching myself from up here when they were working on me. And so then he asked, he was like, oh, really? Well, you know what it looked like. And so I started describing everybody in the room. And there were people that had come in that I didn't even know were in the room, but I described them in detail. I described their shoes, described a crack in the tile that had one of the nurses pissed off, things like that. With the second time, I said, you know, that time I remember that until I was put in the bubble. And he was looking back through and said that was probably when they were trying to resuscitate me, that I was pulled into the bubble. With the second time, though, I didn't remember anything. But they also had put me in a medically induced coma. So, yeah. A lot of people do feel, when they have that, they do feel like that. Somebody said, do you think there are animal spirits on the other side, like pets that have passed? Absolutely.
Yeah, I hold on to that.
So in the garden where I was, in that garden, there were birds, there were dogs, there were deer, there were literally all kinds of animals. Lots of dogs, lots of birds.
You got some good questions coming through. Guys, just hold your questions, and we definitely want to try to get them answered. As soon as we get through with these topics, we're going to talk about whatever you guys want to talk about.
Oh, I'm like having to lean over in front of Pam because I can see the YouTube feed, but I can't see questions. So Pam may have to watch that one a little bit.
I can see it. There's nothing.
Did you see more detail the second time? So the first, they were so different, night and day different. The first time, the only detail was the color. The second time was vivid detail. But I saw vivid detail around me from above. Whereas the second time, I didn't see anything. It was just, I'm in a garden. But yeah. So with an ego death, let's talk about ego death because Pam's experienced an ego death. Ego death is something where your ego, you have to break yourself basically on purpose. And you have to accept being broken on purpose. So with an ego death, this is where usually this happens with some kind of mind altering substance like mushrooms, acid, whatever. You kind of push yourself a little too far. Not to the point of dying, but to the point where your brain can't handle it and your brain thinks it's dying. So you have to come to the realization and the acceptance you're going to die.
DMT is another one.
DMT, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Ayahuasca will do it. Ayahuasca, the thing about ayahuasca, I've seen all the huge things about everybody wanting to go to Brazil and so on. Aw, that's so sweet.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
So the thing about ayahuasca is before you guys ever book a session or try to go do ayahuasca, you need to understand this is a 2-part thing where they mix a bark and a root together. Both contain DMT in small amounts. Put together, they amplify each other. They make you purge everything out of your body, out of every single hole, even holes you didn't realize things could be purged out of. So just kind of letting y'all know that be prepared for that aspect.
So we were talking about near-death experiences, and now we've kind of transitioned over to ego death. That's our a couple of the topics that we're talking about.
Okay,
somebody on YouTube was just said they just now jumped on and wanted to know kind of what we were talking about.
So if you guys have questions, we usually talk about these topics for the first hour, and then we just answer questions.
And it goes by fast, so just hang tight. And if we get through it quicker than that, then we'll definitely just go on to a Q&A with you guys. Somebody also said on here are those the only way to experience an ego death?
Oh no.
How do we feel about Ouija boards? We'll answer that. We'll answer the Ouija board question.
So no, it's not at all. You can be very, very sick and have one. It's something where your brain is in an altered chemical state, basically. For people that are diabetes or whatever, high blood pressure, it can happen there. But this is where you literally have to have an inner dialogue with yourself and your ego, have a conversation. With me in particular, it was like, okay, this is how your kids are going to find you. This is how you're going to die. Are you ready for this? And I was kind of like talking to myself, like, look what you fucking did. Cool. This is how you're going to die. But I had to come to terms with that. And even though this was over 20 years later, I fought it tooth and nail. Even though I'd already died and I already knew you know what I mean? I already knew. But I fought that tooth and nail. I was not about to die. When finally I was like, you know what? I'm okay. My kids are good people. My family will be okay. And when I finally accepted that, it was like, oh, okay, now you're better. Now you're not sick. Now you're not going to throw up. Things like that. So I'll let Pam talk about hers a little bit.
So
somebody said they love when I put you on the spot. So.
Oh, every time. So yeah, I did alter myself with a substance to induce this. I was on a shamanic journey, and I all of a sudden just started feeling really, really panicky. But I was in a trance-like state, and I started feeling the panic, and I started feeling my heart racing, and I thought, oh dear God, I'm dying. I'm going to die. And I literally, it happened very, very quick for me. A lot of times people have to weigh, oh my God, this, what about that? How am I going to leave everyone? How are they going to find, mine was very, very quick. I do not fear death. I did fear death for years and years and years, but I do, over the past few years, I have not feared death at all. I almost feel like, let's get on with it. I'm not suicidal, so,
Chips and queso.
But
somebody asked what we were eating.
I actually just, when I felt it, like, oh my God, I'm going to die. I just knew that my heart was fixing to, it started racing so fast. I just knew it was fixing to stop. It did not stop when I was like, it's okay. I mean, it's okay. Everyone's going to be okay that you leave behind. You're going to be okay. And when I just kind of released and like resigned myself to the fact, okay, this is it. It was just like an explosion of just pure white light. And then I just shot off and journeyed and went on a healing spree in my meditative state. So
was that your first journey?
No, it was my second. But yeah, it was, you literally, you come back changed. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say it was a near-death experience that you come back changed, but I just literally was like, I could let go if I wanted to let go. And I would be okay with that. I think once you realize the permanency and the impermanency of life, and you're okay with whatever happens either way, then it kind of opens up a part of your brain that you're willing to look at things a lot differently, a lot more clearly.
So I know Pam said she doesn't feel like saying, I came back changed or whatever, but you do. You really do.
You do, but I'm not going to compare it to a near-death experience.
Well, it's different. It's a lot different.
Yeah,
I mainly wanted, we wanted to talk about it because a lot of people get them confused. And so they think they've had a near-death experience when what they've had is an ego death. There are very strict criteria for it to be a near-death experience. I don't recommend a near-death experience. I do, but I don't. Does that make sense? Because someone asked if I recommended having an ego death. Absolutely. Absolutely. The thing is, you need to make sure. Hang on, guys. We're going to talk about Ouija boards in just a little bit. Hold your questions, okay? But because there are specific things with Ouija boards that if you guys are a beginner, you need to know first. So with an ego death, I do absolutely recommend having one. However, I recommend having someone guide you through one. Find a shaman, find somebody that is very skilled in walking you through it. Doing it on your own, you can, but you can also panic and actually hurt yourself. So I do recommend having one.
Because I've been shamanic traveling. I mean, DMT, all of the things that you can use are by no means something that you should just go, oh, hey, I know a dude who knows a dude. Mm-hmm. And he's got some mushrooms. I don't know what they're for. I mean, I don't know what, but they say that these will work, or the DMT, or don't go about it that way. That is extremely dangerous. Mm-hmm. I was very clear, and I had somebody that I trusted, which was Mandy, who was here through it. I don't feel like I went through an ego death with the DMT because I had already experienced that. That wasn't my journey to take on that, but I did it for shamanic reasons. I did not do it to see what it was like. I did not do it to, let's see what this does. That is not the point of this. The point of it is to reach a spiritual level unlike anything you can experience and still be here.
So somebody asked about if you could kind of be pulled along with somebody that was passing away, like if you were holding them and they were passing away. Yes, I do believe that could happen. I believe that could happen if those two people are tied together soul-wise. I believe that could happen if those two people have a very serious bond, soul bond, karmic bond, etc. I also believe that could happen if you have somebody who is passing away very violently and maybe they're clawing onto whatever they can to stay here. So yeah, I do. So somebody asked, do you think that people with PTSD should have caution with an ego death? So I have CPTSD.
Everybody's different, guys.
Everybody's different. You know your limits.
Yes, you have to know what you can take and not take.
If you do have PTSD, CPTSD, some kind of chemical imbalance in your brain, something like bipolar disorder, personality disorder, etc., please find someone very knowledgeable that can physically be with you and walk you through it. Because they know the things to say. They know how to tether you. They know how to bring you back. They know how to help you process it. They also know exactly what level of what they can give you and so on. And if you are looking for someone, you should always have someone ask you about your medical history first. They don't just be like, oh yeah, I got this, I'll help you. No, because if you have epilepsy, if you have a heart condition, if you have diabetes, any of those things, that person needs to know. They need to ask you, because there are certain different things that can fuck up your blood pressure, can fuck up your sugar, can make you have a seizure. They need to know what to do. So here close to us, when we do anything like that, I always have Pam with me. Pam's a nurse, so she can help with the physical side, and I can walk you through things. So we work as a team with things like that. it's best to find someone that does that, they have a team ready just in case.
It doesn't need to just be a dimly lit room with one person who got some stuff from a friend who got it from a friend. That is extremely dangerous to do that. You need to know from someone who knows. It also needs to be someone who's experienced that, because when you reach a certain point, if you've not experienced that, you can't talk someone through that point.
So, we do offer this. We're here in Tulsa, so we don't travel too far with it right now. But I am a licensed minister.
Me too.
Yeah. So
newly.
So there are certain things we're allowed to do religiously versus just somebody that's like, oh, I got DMT. I think it's DMT. I don't know what it is. Be very careful of that, guys. So here's the thing about being very careful and having somebody walk you through it. On top of the physical, the mental, the emotional, the spiritual, there's also things you can bring back with you. If you do some traveling and don't quite hit the ego death and you hit the astral plane, the things there usually don't give a shit about us until they realize either you've got there and you're pretty powerful and you're doing some shit, or that you've been there repeatedly, and then they take interest. And you can bring them back with you. So if you're just screwing around with stuff with, oh yeah, my buddy's got this or that or whatever.
So somebody on YouTube was saying that they were with someone who passed away in a very traumatic, their boyfriend was killed by a gun, and they held that person in their arms until they passed. And sometimes they know if someone is pregnant in their family even before they know. So it opened up something.
Mm-hmm. So any kind of traumatic experience at all is going to open up some gifts for you.
Because it pushes you into a spiritual awakening.
Yeah, it does. It does. And having that close of a tie with the traumatic experience, not just my boyfriend was killed, not just I saw it happen, but physically holding that person while their soul leaves, that is and I hope you take this the right way, an amazing traumatic experience, because it really shoves you forward spiritually.
So somebody said, why would you want to do an ego death willingly, and what would be the benefits?
Great question. Bonus points for you. Who is that? Peace, love, and light on YouTube. Light. I love you. That was a fucking fantabulous question. Here's why you'd want to do it. It really frees a lot of the blocks, especially the one main block you'll have to doing any kind of spiritual work, traveling, etc. It opens yourself up to be a very authentic version of yourself, because now you're over, and this is going to sound cliche, you're literally over that fear of dying. You've faced it. You've accepted it. You're okay with it.
And you were ready to be like, okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it is something I would absolutely recommend to anyone. Just find someone that is experiencing guiding people through it. Not only does it open you up, not only does it strip away some things, it will strip away some beliefs that you've had, and these are things you're programmed with your whole life. It will help you with shadow work. It will undo a lot of things you've been programmed with. It's very interesting the way that it does, and it's different for everybody. It basically breaks the part of you that's holding you back spiritually. That's why I recommend it.
And they were say, what do you mean by open you up?
So what I mean by open you up is that if you look at it like this, if you look at it like a gate that's holding a bull back, there's a pin in that gate. Okay. There's a bull behind it. Say he just wants to run. He's trapped in this little tiny box, right? There's this huge gate there. He could literally break the gate down. But in his mind, he sees the gate. He sees the walls. There's literally a pin this big holding him in. That's what your ego is doing. There's a pin. Your ego is the pin holding you in. Once somebody yanks that pin out, and suddenly the gates are open and the bull is loose. And now the bull can experience everything out in that field, that pasture, whatever that there is, because he's no longer trapped by that tiny pin that only allows him to see the walls that are right there. So that's kind of what an ego death does. It removes that pin. So instead of seeing these walls, and these are walls that your ego has built, that being around societal norms has built. And not that societal norms are bad, but
most of them are. Sorry.
This is the things. So this is just like, there's a video I did, a stitch with somebody, where part of it, he's talking about people are trained to think about, well, my bank account has to be big for me to be successful, and I have to have a big house and cars, blah, 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 blah. Childhood programming, exactly. You're trained to think these are the things you have to do to be a good adult, to be a successful adult. But they're actually not.
Someone said, is there another way to pull the pin aside from?
It would take an amazing amount of spiritual work. Some people can, and some people do. For those people that have a unique aspect of their brain, whether it's autism, whether it's personality disorder, whether it's severe ADHD, whether it's epilepsy, whether it's some kind of neurodivergent talent with your brain. And I'm going to call it a talent because it is. And I heard somebody the other day talking about, please stop saying that mental illness is a gift or whatever. I'm not saying that. I'm saying some people have a different chemical makeup with their brain that gives them an innate talent to be able to process things differently, to see things differently, to see outside of the normal bubble most people see in, and to be able to travel and to journey so much quicker inside their own mind than other people.
Let me say this, because I've got a lot of people that are saying that they have no one to connect with and to talk about things like this with. We started a forum on the bluebodhi.com.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you're joining a subscription, but it's not
free.
It's free. So you're just putting in your information. There's this it's brand new, guys. So that is where you have a safe space and a safe place that is monitored, where you can talk about this, just like we're talking about this here, and all this stuff is coming up in the feed. That's how it is in this forum. We can talk about things. We can figure it out. Go to the bluebodhi.com, and that is your safe place. That is where people who have been through it, are looking for answers, and everything in between. The people who have the answers, who are looking for the answers, their answers may not be your answers. If it doesn't resonate with you, then you move on.
Yeah.
But everybody needs a safe place to talk about this stuff.
So on there, just if you join the forum, I had to create a subscription so it keeps that stuff kind of private. So it's not that it's open for the public and just anybody can go in there and see it. You have to register for the forum. But that is the place to find other people to talk about this with. I know some people don't have Facebook or whatever. So that is a place for you guys to go and literally ask questions, talk about things, find other people around you, find other people you can talk to, whatever. We wanted to create a place that there's no gatekeeping. We're going to answer your questions, or if we don't know, we're going to find somebody to answer your questions.
It's just the forum on the bluebodhi.com. It's not called any, it is called the UPC.
Yeah, it's called the UPC. So
it's called,
that was a water bottle.
It stands for Universal Pagan Collective. That's our catchy little phrase that we've come up with, Universal Pagan Collective. But anybody's welcome. If you feel like if you're a Christian, it doesn't matter. Everyone's welcome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And we can talk about things that you understand, you don't understand. You can put your 2 cents in from how you understand it. It's by no means telling you that everything on there is, everybody has their own opinion. We have to be able to accept that and understand that.
I'm writing it down to show you guys.
The forum is on the bluebodhi.com. The bluebodhi.com.
And it's gonna be backwards. Shit. I hope y'all can read backwards.
Spelt BODHI. The Blue BLUE Bodhi BODHI.com.
Yeah.
And that is also where
you want to type it in there.
Yep, that is
I'm gonna
where
have
you
Pam type it in TikTok, and I'll type it in Facebook.
That's where you guys
Facebook,
can
YouTube.
also book readings with us.
If you guys need to talk, if you guys need to process through a near-death experience, I've helped so many people do that, and I'm happy to do that for you. Let me type this in YouTube here real quick. Y'all can see my face up close and personal. TikTok, I'm sorry. Really close. I know. And y'all can see I have T-Rex arms. See how far I'm stretching? See how far I'm stretching? I have T-Rex arms. So I've helped a lot of people process through near-death experiences and ego death. I'm more than happy to do that for you guys as well. Pam and I right now have a special on spiritual counseling, spiritual advising. You could literally ask us anything. This is a private session with, you can have me, you can have Pam, or there's one in there for both of us. Now the both of us is a little more, the private ones are, I think, like 20 or 25 bucks. The only reason we charge that is because, the mortgage and the electric bill, I don't give a shit what we do for a living. Like, so yeah.
PSO doesn't care that, we love to give spiritual advice.
That's a dog?
Yeah, I care.
Well,
Rylie cares.
Riley's one of our students here that is on our mentorship program. And she's our little quantum physics gal, and she's numbers, and she works for, I don't even know how to explain it. She projects how electrical grids need to work in like 10 years. And
we do have an online store. Somebody asked, it is on the Blue Bodhi. On the Blue Bodhi, you can book appointments. We have an online shop. We're getting more stuff added every week. And I'm sorry, my son's dog is whining. So I don't know why. It's probably because we're eating.
The door shut.
Oh, okay.
Let me see if he needs.
When my son shuts his door, his dog has separation anxiety. But yeah, we will happily walk you through that. So on our website with the forum, that's free, guys. It's absolutely free. We created it as a safe space. We do monitor it. Nobody's allowed to make fun of anybody else for whatever practice.
And there are rules.
No
bullying, no pushing any services or products that you have.
Sorry. Yeah. So I don't know. Somebody's saying, no, you have to pay for it.
It looks like you do, but it literally says $0.
Yeah. It's free. I had to create a subscription, but it's literally $0. It's free. Like, there's no monies for the forum. Now, if you do want to book an appointment with us,
yeah, the appointments do cost. But we would, like I said, we would love to offer that and just do that for you and give you answers and guide you and lead you. We also do spiritual guidance. What is it labeled on there?
Oh, I smell what you're smoking. Sorry, I misunderstood. I haven't had my queso quota today. Yeah. It's the Daphne. So yeah, we normally I charge $35 to $40 for an hour of spiritual coaching. We have it right now for like $25.
Crystal said that your pup set her pups off.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, he's kind of a dick.
I know, it scared me too. So
for you guys right now, oracle readings, we have them at $20. You are not going to find someone else that has a cheaper one.
I think today was the last day.
Oh no, I've got it set on there.
Oh, okay. I've
got it set on there.
It's 25 actually.
Oh, 25. I'm sorry. See, this is why I need a Pam, because Mandy doesn't numbers. So if you guys want a full reading, our full readings are an hour long. We use
anywhere from 40 minutes to an hour.
Yeah, we use anywhere from 5 to 10 decks. I usually use 9 or 10 decks. We send you pictures of the layouts. We also record it and put it privately on YouTube, so you have the link. So you don't even have to take notes. You don't have to worry about it. We literally do all of that for you. It does take me a little bit. It takes me like that evening to get the reading up. But yeah.
As of today, we won't have any more readings. I think you had a couple that you did for the morning until Wednesday.
Yes, Tara, I will add that. Sorry, I have not had my queso quota to the shirt list. Good point. Thank you. I'm literally writing it down.
Also, we have the mentorship program that you can join, and it's basically your year in a day that some people require. It's basically a 3-year program, beginner, intermediate, and advanced, I think is how we have it worded on there. And basically, cover your ears if you don't want to hear it. It's basically, we're witchcraft educators, and we teach everything that you need to know. Basics, from the very, very basics, very basic herbs, very basic spells, very basic candle magic, very basics we go over.
Thank you, Daphne.
40 something, 43, 44 pagan religions. We're not trying to say this is how you do it and this is where you go and this is what you should do. We give you all of the tools and you pull together what resonates with you. If you're like, I don't know about candles, you're going to take the class and you're going to go, that's something good to know, because that is something I can create candles for someone if they're needing protection or if they're needing to cleanse a property.
Herbs for Gaia. I'll look those up for you, Daph, because I'm not quite sure. If you guys are just wanting to know the basics on how to do everything, that's literally what this course is. We have one class. It's one class a week. They're released on usually late Wednesday night, early Thursday mornings. You start whenever you want. Go through it. It's literally a whopping $50 a month. But yeah. So you guys don't put the bags in houses that kills the people. No, that right there is a little, that's a little embellished for some movies and TV shows and things like that. Yeah, those actually are called Gris bags. And usually those are more for hoodoo, things like that. Some witches do put hex bags in people's stuff and so on like that. But yeah. So yeah, the classes, you can literally start.
Somebody said that's cheap. They pay more for coffee.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, I spend $50 on so much
true.
shit.
I mean, we could say that we need $189 to go over everything and do that. We could.
Yeah.
But why? We want everyone to know the basics of what they need to know until they find what resonates with them. And gives you the tools.
Let me write that down for you because it's not the Blue Bodhi. I wonder if I can write it backwards. Let's find out.
No, on YouTube it said it wasn't backwards.
Okay.
You can just type it.
Oh yeah, will you type it in there?
Oh shit.
We forget. Riley's. See, this is why we need a Rylie. Riley's like, bitches, you can just type it. What are you doing right now?
An admin, you can.
Huh?
An admin in the thing.
So, Rylie just wanted to see my T-Rex arms.
Why is it doing that? Why is it putting space?
Thank you, whoever wrote that on there. Trillium Spiritual Center. I'm afraid to flip my camera because I've seen the TikTok trend with people flipping back and forth and looking at how your face is not symmetrical. I already know my face isn't symmetrical. I don't want to look at it. So, okay, I do not advise spirit journeys for a teenager. Here's why. Because they have not had their mental capabilities strengthened enough yet. If they're hormonal, if they have any kind of puberty going on, any kind of drama, etc., that can affect where they go, how long they stay there, how easy it is to get back. I would never, never, never recommend. I wouldn't recommend that. So, okay. We were going to talk about some other topics, but it's almost 10. I do want to talk about protection really quick because this has been something that has come up.
And then we're going to talk about Ouija boards because it's getting ridiculous.
Yeah. So I'm going to hold this up over here for TikTok, and then I'll hold it up for YouTube. Okay. This right here is a mix of several different cultures, different pantheons of runes. There are a lot of Norse runes on here. There are a lot of ancient Greek runes on here, and there are some Egyptian runes on here. These are for protection, and I've written down next to the symbol, the sigil, the rune, whatever you want to call it, what it's for, what pantheon it goes to. You can use any of these, guys. If you look at one on here and go, I love that. That resonates with me. I'm going to use that. Do it. Okay. I have a line of Norse runes on my arm. I have Greek sigils all over my arm. I have my own sigils. You can use these. Okay. So let's see. Here you go. Oh, well, maybe I can get both of you at the same time. So if you guys need to screenshot this, I'll keep it up here for just a second and you can screenshot it. There's no particular way you have to hold this or you have to draw this. So you guys on TikTok, if you're screenshotting this, make sure when you save it, you flip it because these will all be backwards to you guys. Okay. So these are all protection. They're for spirit. They're for abundance. There's a warrior rune in here and there's a divination power rune in here.
We literally use.
So they want to know how we use them. Like I said, guys, if you're on TikTok screenshotting this, make sure you flip it. Okay. Make sure you edit your picture and flip it around.
So we literally draw multiple of these sigils on our body every day. We have a roller oil that we've created.
So I'm gonna get that closer for the YouTube
that we
friends.
call healer's oil, or what do you call the whole 9 yards?
The whole 9 yards.
And it's in a little bottle with a roller on it. And when I get out of the shower, I literally draw these sigils on me. I draw them on the bottom of my feet so that everywhere I walk, I'm protected. I do this every day. My shoes reflect that because they're always got a little grease spot on the bottom.
You can draw these on the soles of your shoes.
Mm-hmm.
You can draw them inside your shoes. I draw several in oil on my chest. And you can layer them.
We have holy water. We have holy Florida water that you can purchase if you want. You can get your own holy water. You can get your own Florida water. Any way you want to do that. And you can draw them on your doors, on your windows, on your mirrors. Draw them on yourself.
So are there sigils for your, oh, I'm so sorry you lost your cat, baby. Oh, I love your name, Jen. Oh, we need to be friends.
DJ, hi.
So you absolutely can. So in that picture that I held up, there's one that looks like a really beautiful number 7. That's a spirit rune. I would literally draw that. And then I feel so bad for you, sweetheart. Like I can feel your sadness through here. I would draw that. And then I would draw a protection rune on top of it. You're protecting your fur baby spirit. Okay. So one of the things I do in any place I'm at, whether this is, oh, that is you. Hi. Sorry. They just reminded me about their reading. So, one of the things I do at any place I'm at, my house, office, etc. I should have pulled it out. Dollar Tree is your friend. They have some really cool ass little chalk markers. You screw them up from the bottom, like they're kind of a wax chalk. So it's not chalk. They have them in a few different colors, but I have some white ones. Every door in my house is white. Every single door and door frame is warded with those runes and some others and some of my own personal ones.
Oh, that's interesting.
Oh, wow. Hang on. We're going to talk about that here in a minute. But with these wax chalk markers, you can also mark on your windows with them and it wipes off. You don't have to worry about damaging a rent house or whatever. do these on the door frames, do these on the windows, on the window frames, etc.
Especially if your doors are painted white, you can't see
Yeah.
it unless you kind of look at an angle, and it's something that can be wiped off.
Yeah. So someone said, what if you never seen these until today and literally seen it on your ceiling after meditating? That would tell me that you've been having some things poke you to use certain things. And yeah.
How many times do you have to write the runes around your house?
So I only have one door in or out. I live in an apartment, so I only have one door in or out. Well, I take that back. I have a balcony too. So the main ones for people that I want to protect who's entering my place. Either I want to protect the people that are allowed in, or I want to protect my place or whatever from people that don't need to be in here. There are some my whole door frame is warded. My whole back of the door is warded. I also have, you guys won't be able to see this on YouTube. I apologize. I also have a cinnamon broom up there. I have a bag with some herbs and some protective sigils in it. And I also have an iron hay hook from the 1920s because it's solid iron. So hang on here.
I have what I call my home protection system. No, it's not digital. It is things that I've buried on herbs, crystals. I don't even remember what else that I buried on all the corners of my property. I have one of those types of little bags there that I have hanging over my doors. And I'm telling you now, somebody stole my husband's truck and had the garage door opener to get into my home. Mandy and I pulled up to my house and all of my doors were open. Someone had been in my house, but nothing was stolen. I honestly feel like something scared them off. I don't really care what it was and what it looked like and how it felt to them. All I know is I was some powerful stuff.
Mm-hmm. Somebody said, how do you feel about a selenite stick over the door? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Whatever
sure.
you
just
feel,
make sure that you can secure it up there.
Yeah.
You don't want it to fall. And that's because when that stuff breaks,
it's like fiberglass.
It is like sharp shards of glass. So just be very careful with that for sure.
So anything, if you feel like, I was talking to a girl today who she has selenite and she has 2 cinnamon sticks that are wrapped around a piece of selenite over her door. Absolutely. Cinnamon is amazingly protective. Selenite is very cleansing. So yeah. So questions? Who wants to talk about some questions?
No, Ouija boards. Talk about some Ouija boards.
Okay. I have 2. Let's talk about some fucking Ouija boards, guys, because apparently that got to be a hot topic in here.
Ouija board, spirit board, whatever you want to call it.
I didn't get to see some of the answers other people were giving.
So I saw where someone said you're letting in lower vibrational beings or entities into through the board.
No, not at all. So here's the thing. A Ouija board is a tool. Okay. A Ouija board is a tool for contacting things on the other side. And I said things for a reason.
The other side, not necessarily meaning people who have just crossed over,
right,
but from other dimensions, planes.
I'm working on my queso quota. Whoever said that, that's funny. So there are specific things that you want to do and not do when it comes to dealing with the Ouija board. Now, everything that we talk about with this, if we're like, okay, you need 1, 2, 3, you need XYZ to do this, and you feel like you need to add stuff to that, do it. Your intuition's telling you to do it. With me, when I do seances, I hold seances for people. I do them for large crowds of people. I do mediumship circles, etc. So with a Ouija board, perfect. Someone said, I always say a protection prayer before opening it.
That's the key.
Wonderful.
That is 101. I'm going to do a spirit board is you have to have protection in place.
Yes. So when I'm doing one, whether it's just for myself or whether it's for a group of 15 people, one of the first things I do is I go through, I have a problem with stones. I have too many. I will go through and I'll randomly, I will just trust myself, my gut. Okay, I need to pick this. This goes here, this goes here, this goes here. There's never a specific layout. It's literally different every time. I also will make up a specific type of salt for a salt circle. Depending on...
Absolutely, you are opening yourself to negative energy. You can.
Yeah, you can. You can open yourself to negative energy like that. But I make a salt circle. I will make the salt specifically for each time. The thing I always do is a sea salt base, and I like the chunky salt because I like to see it. A sea salt base, and then I do hickory ash. Hickory is an amazingly protective wood, so I will burn it in my own personal cauldron or in a fire pit. I will gather the ash. I add it to the salt. Sometimes I put rosemary. Sometimes I put cinnamon. Sometimes I put peppermint.
We're not saying that they're safe, but they're safe if you are using all of your protections. You have everything in place. And for starters, you cannot go into it in an altered state.
Right.
On drugs or alcohol, because you do not have your protections in place. If you're doing that, I don't care what you feel like you're doing or how in control you feel like you are, because you are opening yourself up to lower vibrational things to come through because you're not being safe.
Yeah. So this is one of the things that when this came out as a game in the 70s and 80s, people would get fucked up and do it. And then they'd wonder why now they have shit in their house. This is why you have shit in your house.
For one, if you go into it not prepared for what could come through, and what's going to happen is you got a group of friends and you're jacking around, and you've probably been drinking or smoking a little bit, and everybody gets into this and things start coming through, lower vibrational things, because you're not going to talk to Uncle Joe on the other side if you guys are coming at it in that fashion. You're going to bring in something that is going to scare you, for one, and you are not going to close out. You're not going to close out the portal that you've opened because everybody scatters.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Or everybody's too fucked up to know that, okay, we're done now. We're finished jacking around with this.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go get some more beer.
Yeah.
You have got to go at it in a very, very safe and protected way to keep yourself from opening up something and not closing it and leaving it like a wide open door for anything and anybody to come through.
So this is kind of on the salt topic. I'll answer this question. We'll go back because somebody else asked about salt. Somebody said, how do you use the salt by the door in your apartment? There's a couple different ways you can do this. I have a mat outside. So here's a good way. If you're worried about the salt getting blown away or swept or whatever, get yourself a mat. You can flip it over, and I recommend just getting a cheap ass one from the dollar store or whatever that's flat on the back. So flip it over, get yourself a Sharpie. You can ward and sigil that bitch and no one will know. You can also put salt under it and no one will know. And people will be walking over it back and forth. They won't know. Also, usually apartments have a pretty interesting door jamb, even the newer ones. You can put a line between the door jamb and the carpet, or, underneath the door jamb. Sometimes you can unscrew it and pull it up just enough to put a line of salt under the door jamb and screw it back down. Doesn't get blown away. Nobody knows it's there. Come on, done. So yeah, there's some very interesting ways you can put salt in a doorway of an apartment.
Things that do come through, know they are going to scare you, so you can't close it.
So when it comes to salt for a seance or a Ouija board, no matter what I add in the salt, I put it around, I leave a spot open until whoever is there is going, like physically, person-wise, is inside and sat down and comfortable. Then I get in, then I close it. I don't allow anybody to cross it or anything like that. I also do not have animals out and around. Somebody asked about the dogs. I don't have animals out and around when I'm doing it, because an animal can break that back and forth. So then when I'm done, so say I always lay the salt down in a clockwise pattern when that is doing something. When I take it up, and I take it up every time when I'm done, I do it in a counterclockwise. That closes the circle back out. And I always keep the salt. And one of the things I do with the salt is, say I have 5 people at that seance. I will
Protection.
give each one of them a small bag of that seance salt. It is amazingly protective. Somebody did mention that you can't close it out or whatever. Yes, you absolutely can. You always should close a Ouija board out. You say goodbye and you close it and you thank whatever spirits came through, you thank them, you tell them goodbye, and you close it out. So, yeah. Yep. You absolutely can close it, and you need to every time. It's when people forget that things happen to stick around.
Someone on YouTube said, I fully believe that, Pam, that their grandmother had a trunk with sigils all over it, and someone broke into her home
thank
and
you, sir.
left in a big hurry. One vase was thrown from the shelf on the ceiling at the door. So, yeah, there are things that are protecting.
Good question. Somebody says, is it iodine salt or Celtic or sea salt? Do not use iodized salt. Not sure what it is in the iodization process, but it kind of screws it up a little bit. So non-iodized salt or sea salt, kosher salt's good too. Literally, you can use the cheap ass shit from Walmart, whatever. Just make sure it's not iodized. I love sea salt, so I pretty much always use sea salt. Plus, you can go to Walmart or Dollar Tree or wherever and get a big thing of sea salt pretty quickly, or pretty cheaply, pretty quickly. Duh. What do you recommend for the next steps in intermediate tarot readers? Well, what I would recommend is, it depends. I'd have to know where you are in your practice, how long you've been reading, etc. But what I would recommend is tape record yourself doing a reading. Okay. Do a reading for yourself, but tape record it. Leave it alone for a day or two and then go back and listen to it. Okay. Take a picture of the layout so you can see what you were looking at and go back and listen to it. See where there are areas that maybe you faltered a little bit, that maybe you weren't quite sure what a card meant, that maybe your tone wasn't correct. You know what I mean? Go back through and listen to yourself. But like I said, don't do it right after. Give yourself a couple of days. Go through and listen to it and see where you can improve. That's one of the best possible ways that you can improve yourself, Even for beginners, you can do this too. If you're worried about your presentation when it comes to giving a reading, you can do that too. Video yourself. I mean, you don't have to post it anywhere for anybody to see. Video yourself. Watch your faces. You know what I mean? Do it and pretend someone is literally sitting in front of you that you're reading for them. And then see how you can go back through and yeah. Other readers can't get a clear, you and other readers can't get a clear picture reading for you. I would say that means you have some very strong walls in place and you're not allowing people to read you. Even if they're unintentional, you don't realize you're doing it. Sorry. You want to answer?
What is it?
How to cleanse a new tarot deck? Sorry, I got me with a mouthful.
You can cleanse with, if you want to use them right away, you can cleanse them with incense. If you can wait until full moon, you can leave them, let them bathe in the moonlight. I don't really know about tarot. Is it the same?
These are good questions. Holy shit! Hang on. Okay. I had to pull the questions back up a minute because there are a couple of really good ones I want to talk about. Not those two, but hang on. Cleansing a tarot deck. You can smoke it with sage. You can smoke it with incense. You can lay it in a bed of salt. You can leave them in the moonlight. Personally, I would leave them in new moon. Or you can leave them in the full moon. That's how I would cleanse one. So someone said all crystals can't be cleansed with salt water like moonstone. Am I right? Okay. So not all crystals can go in water. Anything that ends in "ite," it will damage it. Malachite and cinnabrite will actually make that water toxic. So any type of selenite will disintegrate. It will damage it. So just remember, anything with "ite" cannot go in the water. If you're curious about a specific stone, look it up. If you don't know for sure, look it up. I'm not a big stone expert. I know enough to be dangerous.
And some of them can't even be cleansed in salt.
Yeah.
You just have to know and research what can and can't.
And if you're worried, if you have a stone that you're kind of worried about, you can always put it in the full moon. You can always put it in the new moon too, either one. Okay. So yeah. And then hang on, what was this other one? What are your opinions on a lot of reverse cards? That was the one I wanted to talk about the most because, and then we're going to talk about that one. Oh God, y'all have good questions tonight. It makes me happy. So reverse cards. This is one of the main ways you can tell a novice reader from an intermediate or an advanced reader. If you guys ever are in a reading and a card comes up reversed, do not turn that thing around. Don't turn it around. There's a reason that card came out that way. So if you guys ever watch me on Tuesdays and a card comes out sideways, I leave it sideways. There's a reason it's come out sideways. Or whopper-jawed. Everybody fucking laughs at me. I don't give a shit. I love that word. There's a reason they come out that way. You guys need to make sure you're familiar enough with your cards and you know what the meaning is. So if this card comes out, right side up and it talks about going on a journey, that's what you take it as. If it comes out upside down, that means you don't need to take a journey. There is no whatever. There's a meaning to it. So if you see readers that have something come out upside down or whopper-jawed or sideways and they turn it, they've just negated the whole line. They've just negated the whole reading. Now, I do know readers that will make sure all of their cards are right side up first. I totally get that. And that, if you're new and you're still learning those cards, yes. But as you grow in learning to read and as you grow in your practice of whether it's tarot or oracle, you're going to have to learn how to read reverse cards.
Somebody said, what is the benefits of new moon versus full moon cleansing?
Okay.
Cleanses.
New moons are new beginnings. They're starting something new. They're moving forward. They're setting your intentions and goals. Whereas full moon is letting go of something. It is also amplification and charging for crystals and so on. What is the best way to cleanse a house of a negative spirit? All right, hang on. Shit. Oh, good question. Someone said you don't lay out a spread. You don't lay out a spread or you let them fall out. So everybody does it differently. And then we'll talk about cleansing a house because that's kind of a process. So everybody does it differently. Let me show you. So I'm going to move some shit here.
Let's not start doing readings.
I'm not doing readings, guys. I'm not doing readings. I just want, so Pam shuffles traditionally. And then she will pull a card out or whatever, or lay it out for people to read. I do like this, and I take the card that pulled out the top and lay it down, whether it's upside down or not. Now, sometimes when I'm shuffling like that, one will fling out over here and say it lands like that. That's how I leave it in the reading. So that's, you can do it however resonates with you. If you like traditional shuffling, that's how you should do it. If you like weird shuffling, that's how you should do it.
So when it turns, how do we know what it means?
Okay, good question. Okay, so not doing readings, guys, okay? So this is the Hunter card, okay? So what does that card tell you guys? If that card were to come up, for me, I would say, okay, that is, you're hunting something, you're seeking something, you're after knowledge or something. When it's like that right there would tell me that either you need to be looking for it or it's eluding you. It depends what other cards are around it. If it's like that, it tells me that you're getting to the point, there's something you need to be learning and you're almost to that point. So,
Sometimes sideways could really go either way, and it depends on what the other cards that are around that.
Somebody said my deck came with a book, but it doesn't mention reverse meanings. It's literally just the opposite of what the card means.
Yeah.
Yeah. Most people are so afraid of the reverse cards because they're like, I don't know what that means. It's literally just the opposite. Pretend it's opposite day.
So you have protection right side up. Shows that you probably have some protections in place. You are protected. If it's reversed, you probably need to get some protections in place, or you are lacking in that area.
Someone said I always see sideways as an obstacle. It could be. I usually do as well. Or it depends the card. Like especially it's so much harder with oracle cards because every deck is different. So let's talk about somebody asked about cleansing a place. Okay. Cleansing a place is a process. It also depends what you're cleansing out of there. If you know what it is, or if you don't know what it is. If you are just moving into a place and you want to make sure it's cleansed, you want to go through, personally, I would say do this before you move anything in. Open every cabinet, open every drawer, open all the closets, everything, okay? Do not open the windows. Do not open anything that goes outside, doors or windows. But other than that, everything inside, the pantry, laundry room door, etc.
Even like jewelry boxes and small cabinets, small, that aren't attached to the wall, anything like that, even the doors and drawers.
Yeah. So then you want to get some yerba santa. You want to work clockwise through the house. If you have an upstairs, start upstairs first and move down toward the door. You want to act like you're painting the floor in the house. If you get that in your mindset, I'm painting the floor. You don't ever want to paint yourself into a corner or anything else.
I thought you were supposed to open the windows to make them leave.
Now, if you feel you need to, you can. I have just found I've done more clearings than I can probably ever count. The problem with opening a window is, say you've got two bedrooms next to each other and the windows are open in both. Well, you go in one room and you clear it out and whatever it is goes out the window. It can come right back in the other. So, yeah, you're letting them out, but it's going to come right back in another way. So you just negated everything you did. So I never leave anything.
So I usually do just the only opening is where it's going out. The last place that I am pushing it out.
Yeah.
Which is usually my door, my front door.
So what I do is I start at a front door or back door, whatever. I weave my way through. You want to make sure that smoke gets down in every drawer, cabinet, crevice, etc. It's like I'm reaching in and scooping through the house and I'm chasing it to the front door. And then I will open it with this yerba santa in my hand. I will open it and I will fling the smoke out and give it a chance to go. You want to drive it toward the door and push it out. Once you do the yerba santa, that is a nuke. That is a nuke. It will take it down to ground zero, nothing, nada, and blank canvas. So if I'm doing my house that I live in or something, I will preemptively apologize to my guides, to any good things. They're like, hey, I'm kicking you out for a minute. I will invite you right back in. Then I go back through my house with a holy wood and one type of sage. There are so many types of sage, guys. You don't have to freak out about using one specific one. They all have different meanings. They're all good for something different. If you're worried about using sage, use holy wood. It's going to dedicate that as a safe space. So that is how you would cleanse a space. Now, if you know damn well that there's something a little more not nice than just a malevolent spirit or a pissed off grandpa ghost in there, and you're not quite sure how to handle it, I would call somebody. I would find somebody that's been doing this a while and have them help you, because there are other ways of clearing things with different holy waters, different types of waters, oils, herbs, ashes. I mean, there's a lot. There's a lot that goes into it. Palo Santo is a really good one to use. So is cedar. For those of you guys that are Native American or that operate in a Celtic or Norse pantheon, cedar is a holy wood. It's very protective.
Sabrina, Ghostbusters.
Yeah, Ghostbusters. So yes. So here's how sage actually works, guys. Every single type of sage, and I want to say there's either 12 or 16. I can't remember. Every single type of sage. What sage doesn't actually clear negativity. It creates a vacuum. So sage pulls in the good things. It pulls in all the good spirits. So in doing that, when you're pulling in the good, it has to push the bad out. So it literally creates a vacuum. It doesn't just clear and bring stuff in. That's not what it does. It only brings stuff in. So you're pushing, you're creating a vacuum. So
you can cleanse at any time.
Yeah.
Even if you've already moved in. Mm-hmm. I mean, it makes it a little more time consuming and burdensome because you have to open everything up. But Absolutely. You can do that at any time.
So if you got Palo Santo and the smell bothers you, then just get you a different type of holy wood. You can find cedar, you can find hickory. I mean, you can even just get little cedar chips at, the pet store. Just put them in an abalone shell, put them in something. I can't words all of a sudden. Something you can burn and use the smoke. So yeah. And I will tell you guys, if you order Palo Santo or something on Amazon lately, then it probably isn't real, and that's probably why the smell is so bad. Yeah.
As well.
So, okay. So burning Palo Santo and sage are not a close practice. The burning of them is not. There are specific close practices, and Pam can speak more to that with the Native American side. But in every single culture, every single pantheon, there is a tradition, there is a type of cleansing that they do. So find out where you're from, find out where your ancestors are from, and learn that. But just the act of cleansing a space, going through it with Yerba Santa, going through it with sage, with Palo Santo, is not a close practice. It's a specific type of ritual that goes with it. That's the close practice. So by the way, Palo Santo and sandalwood together make a fantabulous smell. I'm just saying, Pam and I, it's one of our favorite things to do. Mm-hmm. And you look really cool holding two of them in your hand at once, because you can put one here and one here. It looks really cool. Just saying. If you ever wanted to look really impressive in front of your friends. Oh, thank you. Somebody said, I love your lives. Well, we try to no bullshit thing. So what other questions do we have, guys? Wait, hang on. Okay. So clockwise is to do something. Counterclockwise is to remove. Somebody on YouTube asked that. Counterclockwise is to undo. So if I'm cleansing something, I usually work clockwise because I am doing something. Now, if I know, I got a bad accent. I'm sorry. If I know somebody has done something really bad in there, like say somebody,
yes, Crystal.
Yeah, say somebody messed with a Ouija board. Say somebody brought something in on purpose. Say whatever. Someone has done some bad shit in there. I go counterclockwise.
And if you are afraid that...
Oh, that's a good question.
You live by a cemetery and you've noticed that there's a couple of little spirits of children that stay around your house, and you're like, oh my God, if I sage and if I use all of this, I'm going to get rid of them. It's going to push them out. But if you literally just let them know, hey, look, I've got to do this. It's not for you. It's not to harm you. Mm-hmm. And you will be welcome right back in as soon as I'm finished. Then they're usually okay with that.
So somebody just asked, is there such thing as a witch's call? I've seen a couple of people talking about it on TikTok. I personally have never heard of one. Doesn't mean it doesn't exist. So I'm not saying no, the witch's call. So the way someone explained it was that with the COVID and everything, it's a witch's call. I don't agree with that. Here's why. And follow me here. I believe that the Mayans did not predict the end of the world in 2012. There's a whole long school of thought, and I've talked about this repeatedly. The Mayans actually predicted the fall of the veil, a new spiritual awakening, etc. in 2021, which is now. So with COVID last year and this year, it forced people to face their own mortality. Thank you.
Morality.
This is why I need a Pam. Mortality.
I was going to say it.
Rylie could have said it.
I was gonna.
Y'all just let me fuck up here. Shit.
I corrected you.
Anyway, people are suddenly worried about their spot in the universe. That is, in a way, a partial ego death. It's a partial awakening. It's a traumatic experience that now you're face to face with. I could actually die by breathing. That's what you're faced with. It forces you into a spiritual awakening, because a spiritual awakening is done through a traumatic experience. So now that you have that, you have millions and millions of people around the world that are suddenly going through a spiritual awakening. I don't take that as a witch's call, because we talk to people on a daily basis that are going through this spiritual awakening that don't consider themselves witches. We've talked to Christians. We talked to Buddhists. We talked to Taoists.
I think that's a TikTok thing.
So personally, I think it's more of a TikTok thing. I
think
agree
it's a
with
fad.
Pam. I agree with
think
Pam. Am I saying that there is not such a thing? No, because just because I've never heard of it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. But the things going on in the last year it's not a witch's call. It's a massive spiritual awakening. And there are actually a crazy amount of prophecies throughout time that talk about this. The Mayans talk about it. I keep forgetting the name of it. I want to say it's the seventh fire. There's a whole bunch of prophecies about it, that the earth has to go through a cleansing every few thousand years where man has to decide to be materialistic or to be spiritual and protect the earth. So I'm so glad y'all answered that, or y'all said that. Oh, shit. We got all of these. Oh, somebody asked Pantera or Slayer. Ooh, why you got to ask a hard question?
It's hard because I have no idea what that is.
I'm going to go with
It's a
Pantera.
metal band.
I'm going to go with Pantera.
I would agree. That was a correct answer.
All right, let's see here. Is it bad that I enjoy interacting with spirit and sending spirits to the light? No, it's not bad at all, love. That would tell me that's one of your talents. And you should absolutely be doing it. So. Oh, shit. I'm turning the camera. Okay. Sorry, I got to pass some questions. I let them pile up. Sorry. Okay, somebody asked a few times about purchasing gemstones today. After I cleanse them, do I just carry them in my pocket? This is... Wait, hang on. You can literally do whatever you feel. I have bra rocks I carry. I mean, I have some I carry with me. Pam has a bag she carries. I don't carry them in my pockets because I tend to lose them, and that makes me a little aggravated.
I love my little leather bag.
You can get you a little medicine bag to do that. But yeah, if you're a chick, here's where you got the advantage. You got a bra. You got bra rocks. Bam. Riley's over there checking her bra rocks.
I ain't got no.
Oh, Riley's failing. Okay, I'm sorry. I got to go past. Oh, wait. Shit. Okay. All right. So, yeah, you can wear them. You can keep them on you. I don't know what I did to the camera here. I'm sorry. Okay. All right. So, yeah, I hope that helped with the witch's call versus spiritual awakening thing. I mean, I keep seeing 333. What does that mean? 333, this one I actually do know because I had to look it up twice today. This one means that you're being prepared to be set on the correct path. That the things you've been doing and going towards,
you just opened yourself
are
up.
setting you.
What about this?
Oh yeah, if you all ask me any other numbers, ain't happening.
You'll just have to
look at you messing with me.
that.
Stop messing with me. I saw that 7, 8, you little butt.
Yeah, you'll have to research the numbers because we can look at them over and over again, and I forget them from one time to the next.
That's awesome.
What to tell you?
Oh no, he's fucking with me. Stop it. Okay, tarot is a generational gift for me. How do I find out if I have others? So here we go. By using your gifts, by using that gift of tarot, it will open you up to others. It will be very easy for you guys to figure out.
Here's what you should do. You should set an intention when you go to bed at night.
You with the numbers are killing me. Sorry, it's funny.
You're going to go to bed tonight and you will set an intention to your spirit guides to ask them to tell you, to send you a message, to give you a sign of any hidden gifts that have not been revealed to you. You can also, there are meditations that you can listen to when you sleep that will unlock some gifts that you have. Just set the intention that you are opening yourself up to receiving the information to any locked or, gifts that have not been unlocked yet. And you would be surprised what comes through.
So somebody said, is tarot good to strengthen intuition, or what other things should I try? Wonderful question. Okay, so here are some amazing things y'all can do to strengthen your intuition, and mainly trust yourself, because it's not so much your intuition, it's you listening to it and trusting yourself. One of the first things you guys want to do when you have something that you feel is going to happen, write it down. And if you're worried about having somebody saying, oh, well, you could have just made that up. You could have just wrote that after it happened or blah, blah, blah. Email it to yourself. Guess what? Gmail is free. So is Yahoo. You can create 2 email addresses, take whatever it is you saw in that dream or whatever, and email it. Then you have a date and a timestamp. That shit can't be faked. Writing it down and going back over it is not only a good way to trust yourself when these things do happen, it's a good way to strengthen it, because your brain goes, oh, shit, they're going to make me write this down. I got to remember all this other stuff. So it's going to start strengthening that and honing it to where you're like, oh, okay, cool. I now know that this isn't just a truck. This is a black Chevy. You see what I'm saying? So you can totally do that. Also, start doing little things that your intuition tells you. If your intuition tells you that that piece of fluorite you bought 3 years ago and it's never moved from your shelf, needs to go in your pocket, put it in your pocket. Put it in your pocket. Little bitty things like that. Just start trusting little bitty things like that. So let's see here. What about being told you're powerful, but seem to be further behind than they see you as? So are you saying that somebody told you they felt you were powerful, but you don't feel like you are? Because if that's the case, somebody probably sees all that innate talent in you that you don't see yourself. Is there standardized tarot cards? That would really be the Rider-Waite deck, Waite. So yeah. So a way to cleanse the new stones you bought, salt water, and then leave them in the windowsill on a full moon. So what I would do is literally butt them up against a piece of selenite or set a piece of selenite on top of them. Selenite will clear anything at any time. So
Crystal on YouTube is saying a rooster crowing at her window at crazy hours of the night. She's been told both good and bad omens. Any thoughts? There's a bazillion and one things that you can look up online that will tell you different cultures have different meanings for what that means. I particularly have always heard that it is you're going to get bad news. I don't know. I've lived around a lot of roosters, but I've not ever heard anyone say that they know that to be so.
So someone asked, is it bad to have more than one mirror in your room? No, I have like 5.
You should want them facing each other.
Yeah, I don't mind facing each other.
Yeah, just don't let them face each other and you're okay.
Yeah.
And then you can use those protective sigils that Mandy showed you guys earlier, and you can protect yourself from anything.
All right, so you were cracking me up, but now you're kind of irritating me. So sorry. I don't like it when things are spammed, guys. Please don't spam. So anyway, schedule. Yep. That's when shit hits the fan. You get a schedule. So you don't want the mirrors to face each other, because that is what opens a type of portal. It's not so much a portal you can go walk through and go somewhere, but it's a portal where things can come back and forth. So someone said you should start a spiritual parenting tips or something. That is a really good idea. I'd be happy to put some on a blog. We do actually teach kids classes. We have kids classes. Ooh, locked mirrors. Yes. Why is everybody asking about locked mirrors? Is this a TikTok I haven't seen yet? Do you know?
I know that it's a TikTok thing, but it's not new.
Okay. So locked mirrors. This is when you ward something, you protect it, you do something to that mirror that locks it from allowing things back. Well, my hand looks really cool right there for some reason. Okay. That locks it from things coming in or out. Okay.
Squirrel.
Yeah, sorry. Hi, my name is Mandy. Have you met me? In all of the time that I've been practicing, that I've been doing this professionally, in all of the mirrors I have owned, only twice have I ever had to lock or ward or guard a mirror. That's it. One of them was a mirror that came from Hawaii that was supposedly cursed. It actually was a hand-carved mirror with 2 demons holding it up and then a demon underneath, that the mirror was on his back, and it was supposed to be the soul of someone trapped in there. Like, it was pretty rough. So yes, that bitch got bound and locked and so on. I haven't never called it locked. I've called it binding. But yeah. Is it possible for one gift is being a conduit. Absolutely. There are people that are mirrors where they mirror people's gifts back to them. There are people that are amplifications where they get around people and they amplify their abilities. There are people that are energy wells. There are people, I mean, yeah. What should we know about mirrors? So what do you, in what
especially
fashion?
the older a mirror is, depending on what it's backed with, can also be make an easy portal. That's why if you get an old antique mirror, you should lock it, or you should basically ward it so that it doesn't create a portal.
Somebody says my uncle had an altar, but it looks like the devil. Is this bad? No, it's just what he believes in. It could be Bastet. What's funny is Bastet was actually adopted by the Satanic Church. Bastet is actually something that the Knights Templar used to worship. Are empath and intuitives hard to read? For me, no.
I think they'd be easier.
Yeah, they are. They're easier.
But, it depends on it, how well that they have learned to put their walls and their boundaries up as well.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, I have a mouthful of boba.
And I have chapped lips.
I can't look at people because I see their soul. I understand that. I've actually had a lot of people that I've talked to lately that have a problem looking at people in the eyes, because if they look in somebody's eyes, they can see if they're a good person or not. So that is something that you guys have to learn how to deal with. Use it to your advantage. So, yeah.
We're both falling apart. Ain't that the damn truth?
No, wait. I just had a mouthful of boba. I mean,
I just had chapped lips. Y'all.
how can you tell if you're an empath? Good question. Here's how you can tell if you're an empath. Most people are going to go,
Walmart.
yeah,
You'll
most
find
people are
out.
going to say, oh, well, you just can't be around anything bad or whatever. Everybody hates being around bad shit. Okay. Okay. Not everybody, because I know some people that thrive on drama with funerals and stuff. But if you're truly an empath, it won't just be funerals or bad things that wear you out. It will be weddings. It will be birthday parties. It will be things that are amazing and good and glorious that you're like, and now I can't people. I'm done. It's overwhelming to you. Yeah. Empaths, I broke the chair. Shit. So how would you figure out if you're an amplifier or a conduit? Well, find somebody that you know has very strong gifts. Okay.
That's a good question. I want to answer that whenever you.
Oh, go ahead.
So somebody says, how do you know? Do you have to be nice to be an empath?
Oh, I thought you meant the question I was just answering.
Oh no. Go ahead.
I was like, yeah, go ahead.
No, you finish.
Oh, okay. So,
I'll answer that in a minute.
yeah, what was I even saying?
Hell, I don't know.
Shit.
Whether you're an amplifier or a conduit.
Oh,
you go.
this is why we have Rylie. Now Rylie has to be here every Friday night. Shit. Okay, so find somebody that you know has gifts, okay? Do not tell them you're using them for an experiment. I know that's not nice, but don't tell them, okay? Find somebody that you know has gifts, even if it's just healing or even whatever it is. And go hang out around them for a little bit and pay attention to their gifts. Pay attention to how much easier they connect. If you know someone that's a reader, especially, this is a good way. Somebody that reads cards, or maybe they're just starting to read cards and you kind of know they have a talent, but they don't have a lot of trust in themselves. Go be around them. Have them read for you and see how quickly they connect. That will tell you right there if you're a conduit or an amplifier. If they connect really quickly, that tells me, or it tells you that you're a conduit. If they not just connect, but they're like, oh my God, I haven't been able to pull this much through, you're an amplifier. So yeah. Hey, CJ. Okay, go.
Do you have to be nice to be an empath?
Oh, fuck no.
No,
Sorry.
because I'm very empathic and I don't consider myself very nice
Man.
a lot of the time. But I do believe, this is my personal opinion, you can take it how you want to take it. I believe that everybody has empathic abilities.
Mhm.
I believe that narcissists are actually empaths. Empaths go to the right, use it for good, can read a situation.
Sorry, reaching across. Pam.
Narcissists take it to the left and they use
for
it
control.
to their advantage. That's how they control people. That's how they read people. How do you think a narcissist knows who to pick
Mhm.
as their victims, as their somebody they're going to exploit? They are using their empathic abilities to read that person and to sense
Mhm.
their goodness and their vulnerability. So you have to know that people are like, oh, they're a narcissist, but they're also an empath. They just chose to use those abilities and that gift that they were given to their own advantage and in a bad way.
Narcissists are some of the strongest empaths out there. So yeah, what is a good way not to feel so drained being around people? Okay, so you
have to
need
put up
something
boundaries.
grounding.
Yep.
You need something grounding.
You got to put up boundaries.
Boundaries are a key thing. Put a white light or a gold light or a blue light, whatever your chosen color is, around yourself.
Wrap yourself in an egg.
Yeah.
Put yourself in an egg where nothing, absolutely nothing can permeate inside of that egg except for what you allow.
Mhm.
And because think of an eggshell. What is an eggshell? It protects the growing, whatever's growing in it.
Mhm.
So you are protected and you literally say what is allowed to permeate into that. You are putting up a wall. You are keeping things out. Things are going to hit that and bounce right off. You have to set that intention every time you go out into public, or every time you have to go to that family reunion, or you have to go to that funeral, or you have to even go to that wedding, and it's too much and it's overwhelming. You can literally put yourself in an egg.
So, oh shit, sorry.
What was that?
Me hitting the phone. So you guys on YouTube are exempt from my shaking the phone, looking at questions. Also, carry a piece of wood with you. Carry a piece of wood with you. Wood is extremely grounding. Petrified wood, if you like the stone feel, or just something that you can hold on to, it will help you ground. Someone asked, how would you ladies perform an exorcism? I would not. There are professionals that do that. There are people, this is where I literally would call them the big boys. If you are worried that somebody is possessed, you need to perform an exorcism.
And pay attention to who says, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Shoot us a message. We can do that. No.
There's a reason that every single type of church religion practice has people that have been trained to do this for a very long time. It's not something anyone should ever handle by themselves. So if someone tells you that they can do it by themselves, they are full of shit, and they will probably either make it worse or take that with them. And it's not something that is for someone that doesn't have any idea what they might be up against. There's a reason people are trained.
People are asking how they can connect with their gifts.
How can you connect with your gifts? Well, there's a lot of different ways.
We can help you with that.
Meditation, we can help you with that. We can help you with meditation, and we can help you connect with your gifts. One of my talents is talking to people and being around them, and I tend to unlock or open up things in them. Pam and I also have a core group that we work with. Pam and I also do a lot of traveling. We do a lot of meditation, and we've just started offering this to other people. We used to do it just for clients or, private things, but we at least twice a week, we'll do some journeying. So if we have certain people that we know they're blocked, they can't get a download, they can't grab their gifts, they don't know what they are, etc. We'll actually put their name, we'll write out, the list of whatever, and we will go through and we will do some journeying, and we will go in and we will help either unlock those things, show what they are, unblock whatever's going on, whatever it is we need to do. If you guys are curious about anything like that, you feel free to message us on my website. Don't do it on TikTok because I'm getting like 200 messages a day and I can't. So if you want to make an appointment, it's not even really an appointment. Just message us because we do this twice a week, usually on Friday nights. But yeah, just shoot me a message through the Blue Bodhi and one of us will get it and we'll get you on the list. We charge like a tiny amount for it just because it's really draining for us to do, especially if we have a very long list. So yeah. I'm having trouble finding what type of divination tool works for me. Well, what I would do would be to find a friend that has several different things or friends that all have different things and just ask them, hey, will you show me how your pendulum works? Hey, will you show me how your cards works? Hey, this, hey, that. Or look on TikTok, look on YouTube. Find videos of people using different divination tools. It's pendulums and cards are the most popular. However, there is a multiple massive amount of scrying tools that you can use.
I saw somebody using the divination wands.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah.
The divination rods. Yeah.
Rods. Mm-hmm.
Oh, ears ringing. Okay. So with your ears ringing, this is one of the topics we were actually going to talk about, and then we got sidetracked. With your ears ringing, a lot of people have gone through a level up lately. So when you have this ear ringing, and I hate when people are like, it's tinnitus. No, this is totally different. Like I have that too. I was a bartender for a while. I understand. That is one type of thing. This is like a low pitched and it feels like it's back here in this bone behind. It literally feels like it's in the bone. That's where you're hearing it. It's a different thing. Your whole hearing goes out like it's crazy. I know when it happens on one side or the other, I need to pay attention to what's going on over there. If it's both sides, my ass needs to stop and I need to do a 360 and fucking look around at everything and see what it is. This is a spirit guide, something talking.
If it's something that happens every day at the same time as you're sitting at your desk, stop and take note of what's the common denominator every day during that time. Is it, Karen 2 cubicles over is doing her daily pissing you off? Then that's your spirit guides going, you need to get out of that. You need to get away from that situation. If it's something that's happening every day at the same time, during the same thing, or when you're doing the same thing, then that's a message for you and you need to pay attention to that.
So someone asked, what's the best stone for a pendulum to get? Whatever you resonate with. I would go to a shop that has a few different types of stone, like just not a pendulum, just tumbled stones, and pick a few of them up and see which one buzzes, which one makes your hand hot or whatever. And there you go. That's what you need to get. Or have someone that does resin make you one with a bunch of different stones in it. Yeah. So, what if you constantly feel a tickle all the time, all over, like a finger tickle all the time? So, like with me, I end up getting my hair standing on end a lot when I know something is resonating with me.
Thank you.
Yeah, dowsing rods. So, yeah. I use that as a as a sign that I'm on the right track. Like when I'm doing deity readings for somebody and they're telling me I'm seeing apples, I'm seeing white flowers, I'm seeing spiders, you know what I mean? The one thing in there that's the most important, usually my hair will stand up, and that's what I start building off of. So yeah.
I think that's the most common. What
does it mean when it seems I'm in someone's dreams, but I'm like helping them? That was a Pam question right there.
Probably because you're there and you are helping them.
Yeah, a little bit.
I mean, that's probably what it is.
Mm-hmm.
There are things called Dreamwalkers.
Hi, this is Pam. Pam is a Native American, a Cherokee Dreamwalker. Pam travels in and out of people's dreams to help them heal, to help them process, to fuck them up. No, I'm just kidding. To fuck them up.
I don't go in to fuck anybody up. I'm sorry. I can do that while I'm away. Thank you. Yeah, have our Reiki. That's
those
why
of-
we're not taking appointments tomorrow, because we have the Reiki class.
Yeah, for those of you guys that are interested in learning Reiki, we do have a Reiki class tomorrow. You can go online, sign up for it. Yeah, it's 6 hours. Be ready, 1 to 7
goodness.
tomorrow. It's $175, but it is a unique type of Reiki. It is Omni Reiki, which is a proprietary blend that I came up with in taking the traditional Usui Reiki base and adding some like cherry picking from 7 different forms. Also includes clearing, balancing, realigning, and spinning the chakras, as well as aura cleansing and clearing. So yeah. Riley's like, what? That's fun.
Guys, I do also offer dream services, dream work on the bluebodhi.com, to where we can sit and in depth go over. What?
She said, Pam, come in my dreams and slap me each time I'm dreaming of my I love
Now that I can do.
Funny.
That I can
that's
do.
funny.
I always tease and joke that when I was younger, I didn't know that I was doing this. So I didn't ask permission. It just happened, because it's always happened. And now I like to say I always ask permission, but I kind of like to rephrase that, because I am, if you need my help and you are in a lucid dream and you can call out to me, I will come to you and I will help you. I don't always know that that's what's happened, because I'm asleep as well. But the fact that I've had people telling me, you were in my dream and you fixed it and you made everything okay, but you weren't just in my dream. You weren't just a participant. You weren't one of the people in my dream. You were, I don't even know how to explain it. You were like
somebody told her she was Oz behind the curtain.
And that I fixed, like I was larger than life, and that I fixed what they needed help with in a dream. And my permission and my help in that area is the fact that you call on me.
So somebody asked, is that why I feel like I've been beaten with a club or drained? No, that means you're doing some shit.
You're traveling.
You're traveling. So if you guys are having dreams and you're waking up and
you're exhausted.
Yeah, you're exhausted.
And you slept.
Yeah, you can't remember your dreams. You wake up, maybe you slept 10 hours. You can't remember your dreams. It's just black. You're exhausted, like you feel like you just ran 15 marathons. You got hit by every truck in the city, etc. You're doing some traveling, and you probably don't realize you're doing it.
Or if during your waking time, you just get these little snippets of a dream, and it's like almost there, and you can remember there was something significant, but it's just, you can't quite grasp what it was, but you know that, oh my God, something triggered some kind of memory, but I just can't remember what it was.
Sorry, I'm starving. So one way y'all can start remembering your dreams is to write everything down first thing in the morning, or voice memo. So yeah.
Thank you, Crystal.
Yeah. So start remembering your dreams by writing it down. Queso quota. That was actually quesadilla, but yeah, queso quota. So start writing everything down. I have a notepad on my phone on the front page. I also have a voice recorder, because sometimes, especially with me, I do it so much that I just need to say it. And voice to text on my phone fucks with me hardcore and makes me mad. So I just voice record it and then go through and listen to it later. What does Blue Bodhi mean? So Bodhi is short for a bodhisattva. For those of you guys that are not familiar with the Buddhist religion, a bodhisattva is someone that can reach enlightenment, but chooses not to. They choose to put that off to help other people on their path and help them reach enlightenment. Blue is because blue is my favorite color. And blue is also a color of calm and peace and trust and faith. So, yeah, there you go.
We are in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
However, we will be traveling here shortly. Shamanic traveling later, but traveling. So if for those of you guys that are around Tulsa, Northwest Arkansas, etc., next weekend on the on the 4th of September is the Punk Rock Flea Market here in Tulsa, and we will be there. We will be doing our things and our stuffs with our aura drawings, my aura drawings, and Pam's dream readings and stuff.
Let me answer this. Somebody
Okay.
said, so if I just call out your name, then you will be there. If you want me there and you need me there and you are lucid and in that moment and you can do that, yeah. I can't say that I'm going to lay down my head at night going, okay, somebody's going to call. I'm going to go to this dream. I'm going to be conscious. I don't always know that I'm doing it, but the fact that I help people in their dreams and they fully feel that, yeah, you just call out for me and I'll be there.
So hang on, we'll talk about this shaman class here in a second. Okay, so damn, got my mouth full. Somebody asked about the punk rock flea market. I think it is like $5 again. I can't remember, but you can look it up. Pam will be there. I will be there. We'll both be doing readings. Mainly, I'll be doing aura drawings and aura readings. We'll talk about that in a second. But Pam will be there to do dream work. So if you guys are around, you want to talk to, you have a dream interpretation, you need some night terror work, etc., Pam can help you with that. Like, she can help you in person. We will also be traveling an interesting trip coming up at the beginning of October. We will be going up through Wichita and over through Colorado into Denver, Boulder, etc., down to Colorado Springs, down through Mesa Verde and over. So we will have an itinerary and we'll put that up. So that way we will be stopping in certain cities and taking appointments only. So if you guys don't live very close, but you live Kansas, Colorado, New Mexico, like we may go down through Dallas. That may be a separate trip. But we'll put that up there. So if you guys want to make an appointment with us in person, you totally can. For Pam, most people are like, oh, well, it's just dream interpretation. Not really. Pam is a lot different than than any dream interpreter I've met, and I've been doing this a long time. Pam not only is a dream walker, but she can help you with night terror. She can help you with a lot of other things. Her dream interpretation is not just, well, let me look that up and see. I know a lot of dream interpretation people that's literally what they do. You're on the phone with them and they're Googling it. You could Google it and not pay them. Pam's are intuitive dream interpretations. So instead of going through like, oh, okay, well, this color horse means this and this, she'll say, okay, so because you were doing this, you're on this horse, you're traveling here, this is what this means.
And it has to do with what's happening in your waking life. We're going to sit and we're going to talk about what you're going through. If you're going through a divorce and you feel like you're about to lose your home, and then you're telling me that you're dreaming that you're floating in a boat and you're getting further and further and further away from land. I mean, it's tied together, and you have to, most people aren't going to go, oh, okay, I never really thought of it like that. You feel like you're losing your home, you're losing ground, you're losing land. So, I mean, that's just something I just kind of pulled out of my rear up. That's not happened. But everything that you dream is trying to sort out what you're going through in your waking life. And you just have to sort through it. And sometimes you need someone to stand back and objectively
I gotta go get somebody.
Understand that and look at that for you. And that's why we're going to talk about things first. Talk about what's happening in your life that doesn't sound like it has anything to do with what's happening in your waking life. But it truly does. We just have to figure it out, because information that comes to us from up high, from out there, from your spirit guides, from an astral plane, a different plane, it is coming from a place of such high so much more intelligent and high. I mean, we're just little tiny humans living this human experience. And they're trying to give us information, and they have to put it in ways that our teeny tiny brains can comprehend. And sometimes that comes out in the strangest ways, but you have to filter through all of that. And sometimes you need help with that, and I can do that.
So I had to go get somebody to show you something. Pam's one of the few Dreamwalkers that uses that for the public. In fact, I'm not sure. I haven't looked, and I need to, because I'm not sure how many other ones out there actually use that to help other people. So when we go someplace and you guys are like, oh, it's Pam and Mandy. Yeah, you should book an appointment with both of us. I'm just saying. But with me, whenever I travel, now don't get me wrong, we're happy to do readings for you when we travel, but that's mainly what we're traveling for, is for her with the dream walking and the dream interpretation, and me with aura drawings. So I went and got my buddy Dustin, because I want to get queso on Dustin. I think he'd be all right, but I don't want to get queso on Dustin. So with me, part of what I do and why we travel and we go different places and all kinds of crazy shit is because I am an aura artist. I'm not just an aura artist. Like, there are aura artists all over the place.
There are not.
There's 3 in Tulsa. Not what I do, though.
Okay, not what she does.
So with aura artists in general, anybody can train themselves to see an aura. The aura is the body's electromagnetic field. It sits out about right here. Well, anywhere from here out. It just kind of depends. Some people are wider, but that's very few. You can train yourself to see auras. You literally, while we're sitting here talking, you could be looking at the outside of me here. Like, I can look at myself and see it, so on. You literally can train yourself to see auras. What I do, though, that's what most people draw. They'll draw that. Those change like this. Just like aura photography. If you ever get your aura photograph. Now, that one's pretty cool because it's a snapshot right then. Thing is, it can change like that. You can be sitting here talking to me and Pam and be perfectly calm, cool, and collected, and turn around and walk into the living room and talk to your younger sister who's pissing you off, and your aura will change like that. That's what happens. With me, what I draw is the layers inside. So there are actually 6 to 7 different layers inside of somebody. It starts with their core. There's a spiritual, emotional, mental. There is I call it the underlayer, the ethereal layer, because there's a long scientific name, and I murder it every time. So I don't even try anymore. So for those of you guys that have seen any of my TikToks or my Instagram, whatever, I have some interesting clients, some celebrity clients. So
Somebody asked if I was dark purple and red.
Pam, so Pam's core color, no. So your core color with me, how I do what I do is because I have synesthesia. So I have a very common form of it, which is chromesthesia. That's where I see colors and sounds. So if you guys, I do voice readings, all of that stuff. I can tell you a lot about yourself just from the voice, where the voice sits. Like, I've learned where it sits in my vision, what color it is, how it changes when you talk, etc. I can do a massive amount of stuff and tell you a lot about yourself with just your voice. The other part, though, is that when I touch somebody, I have tactile visual synesthesia. So when I touch something, it's a color. So that's why there are certain things that I cannot touch enough. Tree bark is one. Trees are always blue, but they're always a very unique shade of blue. I love trees. Anyway, with people, I've learned when I shake somebody's hand, I instantly get a color. Or if I were to do that, I instantly get a color. Pam's maroon, by the way. But like a really beautiful maroon. Anyway, so when I sit and I hold somebody's hand for a few seconds, then I start getting layers and shapes. So in doing that, realizing that everybody was weird colors to me, I obsessively studied color theory. So I know what every color means, and then I do the shapes. So here you go. This would be Dustin Diamond. So this is Dustin's aura drawing. It looks much better on TikTok than it does on YouTube. I don't know why.
You guys remember Screech from
y'all
Saved by the Bell?
Screech from Saved by the Bell. This would be Dustin. His aura drawing found its way back to me after he passed away. I will get it to his girlfriend, to Shauna, down in California, But I figure until then, he has no problem being the center of attention because he had no problem being that in life. So I'm sure he's like, yeah, that's probably why he wanted this to find me, I'm sure. But you guys can see there's a core. This is actually super dark purple. It's not black. It looks black on here. This is super dark purple and it fades out to a couple different purples. And I would bet his is a great example because it's very easy to see the Dustin from the Screech. So the purple, that's Dustin. The reason the yellow pops out, that's when he had to become Screech.
Because we were at a convention and people aren't interested in Dustin Diamond. People are interested in the Screech, in the actor, in how he acted on screen.
Yeah. So the dots around him there, those are spirit guides of his. I'm not going to get it too close because these are a little bit personal. So this ends up being a little bit of a mediumship read at times for people because everybody has spirit guides that are assigned to you at birth. They're there from the time you're born till the time you pass away. As you go through life and you lose other people around you, some of them become your spirit guides. They're with you all the time. Others, they come and visit, don't get me wrong, but some are there all the time. So that's what I draw. That's what I do. If you guys go, it's probably pretty far down on my videos. I need to do another one.
Somebody says, do you do aura drawings only in person or can you see through videos?
I can do them through videos, but it's a little harder for me. And I usually can't get all the layers because I use touch to do this.
Yeah.
So if I'm doing them over video, I can do a voice color reading for you, which looks a little similar, but usually it's more of a round or elongated shape. So if you guys would like an aura drawing, but I'm not going to be anywhere around you soon, I'm happy to do a voice drawing for you. Voice drawings are very similar. Voice drawings, so to me, most people's voices sit in this bottom part of my vision. So literally about here, and this to me is about middle of my vision down. I see your voices down here. And so depending on what your mood is, depending on how you're feeling, depending on where you're at that day or whatever, the shape is always like this. It's either anywhere from a circle to a very elongated oval football shape. Then colors, it depends. Everybody's voice is a different color. Usually there's a few tones to it. I've honed that skill over the last little bit to see what color, what point, sometimes they point, etc. So like I have a whole villain wall over there of villains I've drawn and so on. One of them is Ray Park, who is Darth Maul, Snake Eyes, things like that. His voice is it is absolutely beautiful. It sits about like this. It's kind of round, but it points a little bit at the end. It's this beautiful burnt orange copper color, but it comes to a point like this in front of you in the middle. And it kind of waves like this as he talks. It's fucking fabulous. So yeah, if you guys would like for me to do a, let's see, are there none here in Alabama? We don't have any plans to go to Alabama anytime soon, but we've had a lot of people asking us for Florida and so on. So it also kind of depends on the COVID. But somebody said, how do you learn to see auras? So you can learn to see auras by, you can do this with your own hand, or you can do it with a plant. Anything living has an aura. So a white background works the best, but you can use a very dark background. White or black works the best. White is best to start seeing the actual colors. Black is best to start seeing the energies. So the difference between seeing energies and auras, energies look like a mirage on the road. They look like heat waves, but sometimes they swirl. They move, like you'll see it. It's almost like a holographic weird thing that goes around. It's really cool. With auras, they're a color. So you kind of sit back, you sit your hand out about here, you have something white behind it. You kind of focus up here. You don't focus on your finger. You focus kind of out in here.
Kind of unfocus on the main object.
Yeah. And so It will take you a bit. You're not going to get it right off the bat. So don't get frustrated, but you will get it. I promise you will get it. Now with what I do it because my brain's broken. Because I have synesthesia. And so when I touch people or I hear their voice, I see a color. And I did see that someone asked like if I sing or something like that. So I actually had someone ask me this not that long ago, if I see my own voice. And I never paid attention to it until they asked me. And it kind of blew my mind a little bit because I don't see my own voice. There's a hole right here. It's like a gray spot, an opening, but I don't see my own voice. Now, here's what's funny. I started doing experiments. Now, if I video it, or if I listen to, like if I go back and listen to a video, then I can see it. If I sing and I'm trying to sing with somebody's voice, I can kind of see it. It's like that gray spot takes a tint and goes like that because I'm trying to mimic somebody else's voice. I don't know if that makes sense or not. So I can usually see a white or clear aura around things, but I don't see color much. That's interesting. A light, clear, or white aura. It would depend if it's
usually how it is with me. When I try to concentrate and see it, it's usually only a white, maybe a beigey yellow.
I would say you're getting there. I would say to keep trying, because if you're seeing white or you're seeing a clear, you're seeing that there's something around someone. You're seeing it. Yeah. So just keep practicing. That's what I would say. Keep practicing. What is this? Aw. So somebody asked, I don't remember if it's here or here, about Portland or Seattle. I totally have plans to come to Seattle. One of my best friends lives up there, and I'll get to see her a lot. So plus I've never been to Seattle. So yeah, we totally have plans to come that way. But like right now with the COVID thing, we're having to most of the big events we had planned this fall are now being put on hold. So if we travel, it's literally going to be, we're going to this city and doing these appointments. We're going to this city and doing these appointments. So yeah, if you guys have a place that you would like us to come, then we're happy to go. We're happy to come. We just need to make sure that we have enough people there that, yeah, it's expensive to travel, guys. So yeah.
Hey guys, I am almost to 1,000. So if you don't follow me, I would love for you to do so. I'm Native Dreamwalker at Native Dreamwalker, and I'm so close. I'd be able to do lives.
Pam we need to get Pam to 1,000 because during our trip to Colorado, we will be hitting Garden of the Gods. And we'll be going to a couple other places. And so we are planning to do some lives from, like around the amphitheater or whatever we can. So that way, yeah. So if you guys would like us to come to a certain place, shoot us a message on the Blue Bodhi and let us know. I do have a manager. She's taking stock of where people are asking us to go. So that way we can plan itineraries and book appointments. So, yeah. Follow Pam. Message us on the Blue Bodhi. Tell us where you'd like us to go. If you guys want to book an appointment, don't forget, you can go to thebluebodhi.com and do that with me or Pam. We're totally going to come to United Kingdom. That needs to happen.
Oh, wouldn't that be something?
Yeah.
I want to come to Australia. I want to go to Australia. I want to go down under. Do you hear me?
So if you guys would like to book an appointment, is that my Finland friend? Hi, love. I was looking for you. You need to message me because I can't find you on the Blue Bodhi.
I am Cherokee Indian. I am Native American, Indigenous Cherokee. I'm not a Cherokee princess, but I play one on TV. Y'all, listen to that. Let me be bad. It's all y'all's fault.
Y'all hear how sweet she sounded? Y'all. Okay. Anyway, so,
or if you are interested in our mentorship program, you can go to TrilliumSpiritualCenter.com. TRILLIUM spiritualcenter.com.
I'm gonna make her type it.
Tried to earlier and she failed.
Type it. So, yes, Seattle is in the works, and there's like a fuck ton of y'all asking for us to come to Seattle, so that makes me happy. if you guys would like to book a reading, our full oracle card readings, which are 45 minutes to an hour with usually about 9 or 10 decks a piece, Pam or I, literally a whopping $20. Just saying.
25.
25.
Jeez.
25 bucks.
You guys, that extra 5 comes to me. Y'all can pay her 20. I get the extra 5.
Sorry, it has been such a long day. You guys have no idea. Pam and I both, I worked from 11 o'clock until almost 8, and I have another appointment here in a little while after this. Then we're both teaching all day tomorrow and all day Sunday. Anyway, $25. You guys would like to book a full oracle card reading. These are usually 35 to 45 from either one of us.
And all the dream work is on there as well. If you want to schedule, we'll do Zoom. We're going to talk. We're going to chit chat. It's not, you're going to tell me a dream and I'm going to tell you what this means in a dream. This means in a dream. I'm going to tell you what that dream means for you.
Mm-hmm. So our spiritual coaching as well. If you guys just need to talk about some spiritual shit, you need to know where to go. You need help. You need some private mentoring, whatever. That's on the Blue Bodhi as well.
Mm-hmm.
Those right now are $25. You can request both of us too. That one's a little more expensive, just saying. But yeah, if you guys need help unlocking your gifts, if you guys just need anything, if you don't even know what you need, message us on thebluebodhi.com. Don't do it on TikTok because I won't see it. I get 200 messages a day. But yeah, I do spirit guide readings, deity readings,
I don't even know how much
voice
the dream
readings.
work is.
I can't remember off the top of my head either. But yeah.
Just go to thebluebodhi.com and it will give you all the pricing, each thing that we offer, and which one of us or both of us that can do that, you can schedule.
Mm-hmm. So we do have shirts and some merchandise coming. We just need to get the final finishing, like, yes, we like this. No, we don't like that going. We do have stuff on the shop on the Blue Bodhi, so feel free to go there. We're going to go. We're going to go, y'all. We've been going for 2 hours, almost 2 hours and 22 minutes. We have to wait till 2:22. Y'all get us for 20 more seconds.
20 more seconds.
Queso shirts. Tara,
you guys, go follow me, please, please, please. I would love you forever.
So thebluebodhi.com, message us, book an appointment, check out the shop, all that jazz and shit. There we go, 2:22. All right.
Bye.
You guys have a great one.